Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's session. So, in the previous class, we were looking into the business intelligence, and we talked about what is business and how records or the data gets generated, and what is the business intelligence. What we say, the business intelligence, which is hidden in the data, and how that in business intelligence helps the business. And nowadays, like like every industry, it is targeting the end customer, so they are not doing the mass marketing, right? They don't approach the masses, they approach the individual group or individual entity. That is possible only because of the business intelligence, what they are doing it on the analytics that they are running on their data, understanding the customer, understanding the market, understanding the needs, and that is how they are able to increase their businesses and coming up with the new products. In What are the different areas that business intelligence can be applied? You take any sector or take any kind of a business. We can apply the business intelligence there. So these are the some of the things that are included in your syllabus. Apart from this, you can you can just whichever the sector it is, we can apply the business intelligence. Business intelligence is now, it is the part of the business. So there is no business without having a business intelligence. And when I talk about the business intelligence, mostly it is restricted to the large companies, because the smaller companies or smaller businesses, they cannot afford to have these different kinds of systems. But one thing, I will give a very simple example of the business intelligence. If you have seen the restaurants, okay, some of the restaurants, not all the restaurants, some of the restaurants, they will be noting down something, right? They will be noting down certain item. I have seen this in mostly in Bombay. Many would be restaurants, they will be marking. So when he said the some of the items that are getting sold, he's marking. Then I asked, what do you do with that? Then he said he didn't had any computer or anything, but he had all that information he will aggregate on a daily basis, and he like able to come up with a certain pattern. When on which day what item will be sold, how many meals will be sold on a particular day. According to that, he will adjust the how much should be prepared. See, when you are doing a business, right? Inventory, appropriate amount of the inventory should be there. If you have over inventory, that is a loss. If you are your stock is under the requirement, that is also a loss. It should be as much as possible, it should be optimum. So that is how they used to he was deciding how many items and how much should be prepared. So that is one example of the business intelligence. But right now, the larger companies, they have access to huge amount of data. We cannot do this analysis manually. So that there are some businesses and some people, intelligent people, they have their own mechanism to understand their business. So that is a very small scale. But larger industries, they they get data. Okay, some of these people, they pay to get this data, they run the analytics, and that is how they get some insights into their business. Some patterns they will get, some valuable information they will get, which they will use for the improvement of their businesses. So these are the different areas there where we can apply the BI. Customer relationship management, we already say. CRM tools, where many CRM tools are there. We can use this will give valuable insight into the customers, customer behavior, customer needs, and based on that we can improve the business. Then second area is the healthcare and wellness. Now in case of a healthcare and wellness, there are a lot of BI related projects or the applications we can develop. It can be related to the pattern, diagnosis, cure, wellness. All those area can be covered. And similarly we can have a education. Now when we say the education, in this particular field, if I want to cater certain areas, suppose you want to come up with a new course, okay, how that course, how the introduction of those course will have an impact in terms of admissions. Okay, you can do some predictive analysis. So there are not only that, there are many applications in the education field where we can run many analytics, student centric, and get the valuable information, accordingly tweak the courses, tweak the way it has been the education has been delivered to the students. In case of retail businesses, one of the most important aspect of a retail business is again inventory. Inventory is very very important. How to manage the inventory, when to order, when not to order, how the distribution should be. All those are part of the BI related. One example I think I give when we were talking about the management, subject management, and entrepreneurship. We had a one case of Asian Paints. So Asian Paints, since decades, they have a system. They exactly know. They run a lot of analytics. According to that, every day it automatically generates the product list and for the distribution. So what they do is they take out that distribution. For example, Belgaum city, there are let us say like 30 or 40 retailers are there. Exactly, the Asian Paints distributor will know which retailer should be given with what kind of a products. But, that is because of their analytics, the BI they are running in the background. Because of that, they are able to do that. Then next area of BI application is a banking, like a lot of areas inside the banking where we can apply the BI. For example, giving a loan, right? When you are giving a loan, you have to understand the customer, because when you are giving a loan, whether that person whether he will be able to pay back, that is the most important aspects of giving a loan to any person. Whether that person is going to pay back or not, that's a big question. And bank will make a profit if that particular person pays off the complete loan, so bank will earn in terms of the interest. But if that particular person defaults, okay, we have many examples, like very big shots, they did not pay off. So that's a huge loss for the bank, because the whatever the amount that is given, it is completely lost. It is a huge loss. So they run the analytics, and there are so many applications, they cannot do manual verification, so they will run some patterns. They will see the background, what kind of a background, or what is the credit history, then education. There are hundreds of parameters on which we can run the BI. Then we know who are the people potentially they will pay, and who are the potential people who will not pay. So automatically we can identify whenever a person is details is entered in the system. BI can be run on top of that. Any ML model can be run, and it will tell whether the loan can be given or not, yes or no. Similarly, credit card, right? That is another example. And another thing that relates to the banking is the frauds, right? When you issue the credit card, there are millions of transactions, and in those millions of transactions, there might be hardly less than 1%, even less than that, less than 0.1% are the fraudulent transactions. To identify the fraudulent transaction when the transaction is being executed, so that is the biggest challenge, right? So that is another area where we can like apply the BI, because even the any fraudulent activities, all the loss has to be borne by the banking system. So in order to avoid such losses, they can use the BI applications, which will help us them to track financial services. So any kind of a financial services, who are the potential customer for those services, who potentially will take that. So that analysis can be done. Next one is the insurance sector. Again, in case of insurances also, the false claims, right? There are millions of claims that are taking place every a day. Then analyzing those claims, we can have BI tools where we can identify the claims which are fraudulent. Then we have manufacturing, like we have the complete supply chain here. Manufacturing, we are getting the raw material from the vendors, then working out the products and selling it to the giving it to the distributors for selling the products. In this complete chain, there are thousands of things that are involved, and understanding how much should be procured, how much should be kept in the inventory. All those decisions are based on the BI, including the sales figures, how the sales are doing, what is the potential market, how it can be identified. All those things can be taken care using the BI. Next area is the telecom. Telecom, they extensively use it. Okay, for there are many applications in telecom. One is the churn analysis. Churn analysis is like customers moving from one network to another network. So that is a churn. No telecom company wants to lose their customers, because having a new customer, it is more expensive to get a new customer, and having a existing customer is more beneficial. And you can, if you retain the existing customer, you can do cross selling, upselling, because you know the customer, you have all the information, you can do all those things. So that is how it will help the business. In telecom sector, that is the main area where they normally use to find the churn ratios, okay, to avoid the churn of the customers. Then lastly, public sector. So we have all the public sector organizations. Various organizations are there where we can apply the BI. So these are the different areas of BI application that we just talked about. So this is customer relationship management. So we can use BI for maximizing the return on the marketing campaigns. Marketing campaigns are like a company incur like a cost. It's a expense for the company. Whenever we are doing marketing campaigns, it is a expense, and expense will it will eat up the profit. So whatever the money that is spent on the marketing campaigns, it has to get the maximum return. In order to maximize the return, we can do the BI analysis, and then according to the BI results, we can do the marketing. So we can make sure that those campaigns are very very effective. That is how we can increase the returns on those marketing campaigns. Then improve customer retention, churn analysis. For any business, I told you, retaining customer is the most important thing. Whatever the existing customer, because getting new customers is very expensive, because you have to run marketing campaigns, you have to do the advertising, you have to spend a lot of money in order to get a new customer. But the customer whoever you are having, if you can retain them, that itself is because they are going to give the valuable business. They are going to purchase lot of things from you. Then you can based on the customer behavior, buying behavior, you can do the upselling or cross selling to the same customer. So in order to do that, we can use the BI so that we can avoid the churn. That is for the churn analysis we can use. Then maximize customer value. So what is maximize customer value means? Already existing customer is giving you some business. How you can think of increasing sales to those people, right? How you can increase sales to those people. For example, you buy certain thing from the certain shop. They have other products that you might be interested in. Based on your data, means the customer data, they can do some kind of a selling other products to you. Normally you go to particular store for only this product. They might be having other products as well, so there is a higher potential that they can sell that product to you also, and increasing the value of what you are buying. Suppose if you are going with a let us say product, okay, which is having 10 features. Maybe they will offer you a product which is having 20 features, additional features that will interest you, so that they can increase the amount of business that they are getting from a customer. That is how we can use BI to maximize customer value. Identify delight highly valued customers. Okay, this is most important. Highly valued customers, identifying them, trying to give some kind of a discounts, making them happy, and making sure that they don't leave. Okay, they will become the customers of that particular organization, so that they will provide a very high business to your particular organization. Manage brand image. Brand image is a very very important aspect, and the brand image can be created based on the BI inputs. Okay, BI results. We can make sure that the brand image is managed very well across its influential areas. Next one is the healthcare and wellness. In case of a healthcare and wellness, we talked about diagnose diseases in the patients. So it can be used for the diagnosis. So particular pattern, let us say a particular parameters of a health parameters, maybe BP, then sugar level. There are so many parameters about our health. Maybe those will indicate a person might have certain kind of a disease. Maybe he might get a diabetes, or he might be a heart related patient. So checking those, using the data that is already available, we can run some BI models, and we can identify and diagnose those patients. Treatment effectiveness. Treatment effectiveness, we can have this particular data, historical data, which treatments were very effective, and based on that we will come to know for a particular group of people, or particular kind of a people, what kind of a treatment will be effective. So let us say a person having a blood group, a different blood group, maybe the treatment would be different for him. Okay? And a person having a age range, let's say 50 to 60, a particular treatment will be more effective. A particular group of people in the range of 30 to 40 age group, their treatment would be difficult. So finding the effective treatment for each and individual, that can be one application using the BI. Then wellness management, overall management of the wellness of the uh, patient. Wellness will include like taking care of all the aspects, maybe regular checks, and based on their health parameters, running some predictive things, maybe like a particular person in case of a wellness management, then there are certain parameters which indicate probability of having a heart related problems. Then as a preventive measure, it is not a like a disease that hasn't yet occurred to that person. As a wellness management, as a preventive measure, doctor might suggest some of the test, and they can see like if anything is changing which is leading the person towards the a particular kind of a disease, so corrective measures can be taken. Manage fraud and abuse. So in case of a any kind of a fraud or any kind of a abuse, we can use the BI to again identify potential fraud and abuses. We can take preventive steps. Then public health management. Public health management, again, this is the area which will is concerned to the overall population of the particular city or particular state or particular country. It might be related to government policies regarding the public health, the direction for uh, the policies, how the policies should be implemented. That insights can be received, and we can have a better public health management. Next is a education field. As we know, like the higher education is becoming very expensive and competitive. It becomes a great for the users if we can make a data based decisions, right? Like it is not like not only the interest, and also some kind of a data based decisions. There is a strong need for the efficiency, increasing the revenue, and improving the quality of the student experience at all levels of the education. First one is the student enrollment, that is recruitment and retention. Marketing to new potential students requires schools to develop profiles of the students that are most likely to attend every organization or every college. They have to maintain the profile, what kind of a profile they are joining that particular institution, and based on that they can run the analytics, and they can find a potential students that might join the particular school or the college. And schools can develop models of what kinds of students are attracted to the school, and then reach out to those students. The students at risk of not returning can be flagged, and corrective measures can be taken in time. So that is some kind of analytics that we can generate. For example, to have a very simple view, we know what kind of a students will be joining a particular college. Let us say IITs. We know like 1% of the student population having these characteristics might be joining. So for those schools, they will be more interested in that kind of students, and they can reach out to those students. Then next is course offerings. As I told you, what kind of a courses can be offered, we can run analytics. School can use the class enrollment data to develop models of which new courses are likely to be more popular with the student. This can help to increase the class size, reduce the cost, and also it will help in student satisfaction. They will be more satisfied if the kind of offering they like, which will be beneficial in terms of their knowledge, in terms of placement, in terms of other ways, like whatever offerings that is provided, it will be as per their likings, and it will be helpful in their future. Then fundraising from the alumni and other donors. Here also we can identify, run the patterns, see what kind of students, those who have passed out, are likely donate, and fundraising can be more targeted towards that category, and which will result in the increase in the fund for the school. Next, retail business. In case of a retail, optimize inventory levels at different locations. I told you there will be many locations, and how the first we have to understand how the retail business works. Retail the organizations, they grow by meeting the customer needs with the quality products, and products in a very convenient manner, timely fashion, and also it should be cost effective. And understanding the emerging customer shopping patterns, that also will help the retailers to organize their products. For example, if you have seen the stores, normally they will a lot of BI runs behind, and that is how they structure their the way the products are displayed. And you will see, like, there will be a products which are frequently bought, right? A person buying a classic example of bread and milk. A person buying bread potentially will buy the milk, or the other way, a person buying milk will buy the bread. So if you see such products, if they are together, the chances of customer picking those two is very very high. Okay. Then the retailers, they generate they a lot of transactions, right? Because every customer is doing business, so there will be a lot of transactions and logistics data that can be used to diagnose and solve many kinds of problems. First one is like optimizing inventory levels at different locations. I told you inventory is very very important. Retailers need to manage their inventories carefully. Carrying too much inventory causes cost. Again, we incur a cost. But having very little inventory, that is also like stock outs. If a particular item is not present, and there is a potential for the sale of that, means a customer is requiring certain product and that product is not there, that is also a loss of business. So those are called as a lost sale opportunity. And also we have to predict the sales trends, how the sales trends are happening. That has to be done dynamically, help retailers move inventory to uh, as per the demand. For example, for let us say it's a clothing shop, and you have there is a seasonal change in the need of the customer, let us say during winter. So you can clearly see the inventory, that kind of a inventory you want to have for the winter is totally different from the kind of a inventory you want to have for the summer, right? In winter, people are likely to buy the dresses and all the materials which will help in keeping them warm. Okay. Like sweaters and jackets and things like that. And in summer, the kind of a dress people are going to buy is totally different. So those dynamics we have to understand. That is very relevant from the season aspects, but based on the customer data, there could be some other patterns hidden that can be identified. Retail organization can provide their suppliers with real-time information about sales of their items, so the suppliers can deliver their product right to the location and minimize the stockouts. Then improve store layout and sales promotions. A market basket analysis can develop a predictive model of products often sold together. This knowledge of affinities between products can help retailers co-locate those products. Means we can keep whichever is by the market basket analysis. Basket analysis will come to know which are the products which will sell together. Those items can be kept together, and alternatively those affinity products could be located farther apart to make the customers walk the length and breadth of the store, and thus can be exposed to other products. Okay, so there are two thought process here. One thought process is like, when customer buys one product, he will buy the another product. One way of thinking is like, if you keep them together, there is higher chance that both will get sold. The another thought process is like, you keep one product at one location, and another product at a little bit farther location, so that during like there is a say 90% chance that a person buying milk will buy 100%, 90% he will buy the bread. Then after buying the milk, he will walk for looking for the bread. In that way, he will the customer will be looking through the different shelves that are available, and he will be looking at other products. So there is a higher chance he can pick those products as well. Promotional discounted product bundles can be created to push non-selling item along with the set of products that sell well together. Traditionally, there are certain products which not sell as much. What you can do is, as a promotional activity, you can bundle that product with the most looked out products. Then what happens, even though the person, there is a promotional thing or a discount available on that bundle, but in that bundle he doesn't need that product, but still he will buy it because of the whole package. So that is how you can increase the sales. Improve store layout and sales promotions. A market, that is the way we can improve the layout based on this behavior, customer behavior. Then optimize logistics for seasonal effects. One example I told is like seasonal effects is like, if it is a cloth shop, based on the season, winter, rainy, and summer, there are different categories of inventory that would require. Seasonal products offer tremendously profitable short-term sales opportunities. Another example is like the fruit seasons we get, isn't it? So all of you, like until maybe like now, lot of mangoes. This is the season of the mango. So this is a short term, lot of sales in sales opportunity in selling a mango. So that is how you have to identify. So they also offer the risk of unsold inventories at the end of the season. So there is a high risk, high profitability, high opportunity. You buy in a large amount, but there is a high chance of a loss also. Understanding the products that are in season, in which market can help retailers dynamically manage prices to ensure their inventory is sold during the season. So during the season, let us say you are supplying the mangoes. You, based on your historical data, you should be aware how much stock you want to have, how many mangoes you want to have, because you know the sales pattern. Maybe you can take a little bit risk, but you should definitely know your selling pattern. Then you can easily manage the whatever the products you have acquired, you would be able to sell it. Otherwise it would be a huge loss. If it is raining in certain area, then the inventory of umbrella and other raincoats and all those things will rapidly, they will sell. And that how, like, you can, based on the season, you can have a certain kind of products. Then minimize losses due to limited shelf life. So there are many items that are sold which is perishable. Perishable means what? Their shelf life is smaller, and when you have products like that, there is a higher chance that if a particular item doesn't get sold, it's a loss. It is complete 100% loss. We have to minimize such losses. Perishable goods offer challenges in terms of disposing of the inventory in time. By tracking sales trends, the perishable products at a risk of not selling before sell by date can be suitably discounted and promoted. This one example, if you see how they try to manage the perishable items. First thing is, you might think, why, if something is perishable, why it should be kept, why it should be sold? We have to think in other aspect, because suppose if that particular item is not there, customer may not, there is a higher chance the customer may not come to your particular store. So that is the reason we should have the perishable items, and we have to have a ways in which we can minimize the losses. And one of the example what I saw in the Reliance Smart is, if you have gone to Reliance Smart, there are leafy vegetables. When they are fresh, they keep their prices according to the market, maybe like 10 rupees a bundle. When they are like, they are nearing their shelf life, when they are not really fresh, they sell it for like 3 rupees. And then I see a lot of people going and taking those things. So that is another way you can minimize. Instead of having the 100% loss there, they are just minimizing the loss. At least the 10 rupees product is, at least it is getting sold at 3 rupees. That is the some of the aspects of the retail business. Then next we have is the banking. Already we discussed many things about the banking. Bank make loans, and they offer credit cards to like millions of people, millions of customers. They are most interested in improving the quality of the loans and reducing bad debts. So their goal is like, they want to improve the business, they want to give loan to many more. That is how they are going to make profit. But at the same time, there is a high risk of bad debts. How to improve upon that, that's a challenge. They also want to retain more good customers and sell more services to them. First one is automate the loan application process. So many banks already have that this process, where on the first go, you will they will feed all the customer information. And there are many ML models that are running in many banks, where they feed the data, customer data, and it will do the initial prediction whether that particular customer should be given with a loan or no. Decision models can be generated from the past data that predict the likelihood of a loan proving successful. That is the that means what, the customer will pay off the complete loan. This can be inserted into the business processes to automate the financial loan approval processes. So we can have many models. It depends on the bank itself, what kind of a risk appetite they have, and what is their customer base. It depends on so many factors, and we can apply any decision making model for that particular organization, which will uh, like tell whether loan should be given or not. And they, what they see in this such models is, they look for like a very high accuracy, maybe like 90%. If the model is working 90% accurately, means it is identifying correctly the at least 90 people, okay, whom the loan should be given and they will pay off. And 10% is that is fine, because we are automating. We will increase the amount of loan that is given to the people. So such automation will help the business. Then detect fraudulent transaction. Billions of financial transactions happen around the world every day. Exception seeking models can identify patterns of the fraudulent transaction. For example, if money being transferred to an unrelated account for the first time, it could be a fraudulent transaction. So there is a one example, and some of the organizations, credit card based organization. One example I remember was I was doing using my credit card in a particular country, and there was a gap of like 1 month, maybe because of some reasons I did not use, and then I moved to another country and I used the credit card. Immediately I got the call that credit was not honored. Immediately I got the call saying that there is some activity that is going on this location in this country. Do you know about it? Then I said, yes, I'm doing this transaction. So this is one pattern. Maybe this pattern might be used in existing data. So with that, at live, they caught the transaction. If the transaction completes, then it's a loss for the financial institution, whether it's a bank or any other institute. So during that transaction is happening, if we can identify whether it is a fraudulent, so millions of rupees can be saved, if we can detect such frauds. Then maximize customer value, again cross selling and upselling. Selling more products and services to the existing customer is often like a easy way to increase the revenue. Let us say a person going there for the home loan. Maybe will give him, if he is requiring a new vehicle or something like that, then you will give him a vehicle loan. And let us say a particular customer, he had taken a car loan, and it's been like a 10 years back, and then there is potentially he might be looking to change his car, so then he is a potential customer. These are all these are the patterns. This is hidden in the data. That is how we can identify. A checking account customer is a good standing, could be offered home, auto, or educational loans on more favorable terms than other customers, and thus the value generated from the customer could be increased. That is how they can do the cross selling and the upselling. Then optimize cash reserves with the forecasting. This is the biggest challenge for the all the banks. They have to optimize the cash reserves. How they can do that? What is a cash reserve? Is you keep the deposits in the bank, isn't it? When you keep the deposit, uh, that particular money is invested by the bank. That is how, suppose if they are giving like 6% or 7% on your deposit, they are using your money, they are investing somewhere, and they are earning more than 7-8%. Okay, and in turn they are giving you a 6 or 7% interest. When they are investing in other, they have to know how much cash should be invested, because depositors might come back and say, I want to cancel my deposit, so bank has to give back his money. So forecasting how much from the given money, how much should be invested, that's a important factor that can be easily done with a forecasting. Banks have to maintain certain liquidity to meet the needs of the depositors who may likely to withdraw the money. Using past data and trend analysis, banks can forecast how much to keep and how much to invest the rest of the so that they can earn on that money and they can pay off the interest to the customer. So that is the applications, BI application in case of a banking sector. Next, financial services. Okay, so financial services will look in the next class.